This is stop. The bike doesn't move around that much. On the landings of the jumps and on the takeoff of the jumps, notice how it's my ankle doing all of the work. So even when I purposely jumped it and cased it that last time, kind of bounced off the landing, I didn't blow through my body, I just did this with my ankle. And it's a really nice feeling because it just absorbs everything. If you watch it on TV, if you watch MXGP or Supercross, pay more and more and more attention to what the feet are doing, because everything revolves around this. The upper body doesn't move at all, but the lower body does all the work. It's so effective to stand all the time. Like Stefan Everett, back in the day, he would just stand almost the whole corner and then sit maybe right at the end of the corner. For stock 125, I'll give this a 8.9. Very good.
Yay!
Very good.
Right. Bravo, bravo.
Very little traction, but then again, it's the most slippery track of all time, so a little hard to gauge. Narrow. What's the cost of this bike here? You can get this only in Europe, I believe.
In Europe is 8,900.
And what's a Yamaha?
The Yamaha is about 500 less.
Oh, I would choose this.
This is for the traction control and the launch control. It has it has the ignition that they use on MotoGP. This is stock.
Okay.
So you can regulate the traction control.
Okay.
10 levels. I have it on 2, I think. It's alright. And then you start it from here.
Okay. Alright. 2022 Fantic 250 F.
Right.
Okay. One lap.
Yeah.
I'm going pretty slow, but this bike's very fast. Very fast. Stock
Alright.
again.
Yes,
right?
stock, completely stock.
Forks not great.
Yeah.
I think maybe too soft for me.
Okay.
I'm just like it bottoms out into flex.
Okay.
But that's easy fix. Other than that, this thing's great. I give it, well, for stock 250F, probably like a 9.2. Very good.
Alright. Yeah.
So if you're in Europe, buy the Fantic probably. Yeah. I love the Hondas, obviously, but this is way faster. Very good. That's Greece.
Alright. Alright, great.
Okay, ready for class?
Yeah, ready for class.
Πού σε έφερα?
Τα πιο ωραία κρέατα.
Ο κύριος Άρης από τη Fantic Motor HELLAS μας έκανε τιμή, μας κάλεσε, μας έδωσε το πιο γρήγορο μηχανάκι. Πιο μισάρι, το οδηγάω και πετάω. Μια μοναδική εμπειρία στο Motoacademy. Έτσι είναι από τους μεγαλύτερους δασκάλους στην Αμερική. Motocross. Θα γίνουμε ρεζίλοι και στην Αμερική. Θα γίνει χαμός. Τώρα με βλέπετε λίγο ανάστα γιατί μπήκα λίγο και ίδρωσα.
Κύριε Άρη!
Τώρα.
Όχι.
Τώρα πάμε να μάθημα, λέει.
Εντάξει.
Μάθημα.
Πώς είναι σήμερα η πίστα?
Είναι πολύ σκονισμένη, αλλά είναι τόσο τρομερά αυτά που μαθαίνουμε που δεν μας νοιάζει ούτε η σκόνη, ούτε η ζέστη, ούτε τα προβλήματα, όλα είναι πίσω μας.
Πώς ήταν η εμπειρία με το ένα χέρι?
Τρομακτική εγώ θέλω.
Τρομακτική στην αρχή, γιατί σου δείχνει όλα σου τα προβλήματα, όλα τα λάθη που κάνεις, τα βγάζεις στην επιφάνεια. Μόλις αρχίσεις να τα συνειδητοποιείς και ένα-ένα να τα διορθώνεις, αρχίζει γίνεται όλο και πιο εύκολο. Αλλά τρομερό. Όταν προσπαθείς το 100 σε έναν αγώνα, σου βγαίνουν παλιές κακές συνήθειες.
I mean, every single person was trying to ride too fast, with the exception of maybe 2 or 3.
Πόσο χαρούμενος θα είναι αύριο που θα πηγαίνω τόσο αργά?
Εσύ αύριο θα είσαι καλύτερη. Αύριο θα ενθουσιαστεί.
Everybody to go slow today. Go slow. It took yesterday's class until maybe 1:30 or 2 o'clock to realize, oh, okay, we have to go slow to start to figure out and actually learn and apply what it is that I'm teaching you. Slowing down and just thinking about what we're doing.
Πίσω ότι πολλοί οδηγάνε με τα πόδια ανοιχτά, με τα δάχτυλά τους δηλαδή σε αυτή τη στάση, που σημαίνει ότι οδηγάνε με τη στέρνα. Όταν οδηγάς με τη στέρνα, ο αστράγαλός σου δεν έχει ευκαμψία. Αυτό λέει το κάνεις γιατί σου βγάζει σιγουριά με το φρένο σου και με το λευγέ των ταχυτήτων.
So instead, what we want to do is we're sliding our feet back onto the balls of our feet and we're dropping our heels. So when you watch me stand here, dropping the heels and the toes are all the way tight up against the frame. No space here.
Okay.
All the way tight. So it's super important that after we're done using the control, so if we're hitting the rear brake, we go back. If we hit the shifter, we go back. Every single time you must return your foot back to the balls of your feet. When you stand up, your knees aren't supposed to go in front of the foot pegs. If you look down and you can't see the top of your boot or the top of your foot pegs, that means your knees are too far forward. So drop your heels and drive the knees back. We should feel all of the weight in the back part of our leg, and we should feel none of it in our quads, our knees, and our shins. The next thing is your butt. You want your butt off the back of the bike, but the big thing here is your hips. So we want to make sure that our pelvis and our hips are tilted.
Η γοφή μας λέει ότι πρέπει να στρίψουν προς τα έξω.
You should only feel it bottom of your feet, calves, hamstrings, butt, and back, lower back. If you're feeling it here, that's wrong.
Αφού έτσι πρέπει να πονάει ο ίσως. Καλή πίστα.
What that does is if we do this correctly, it disconnects our lower body from our upper body. So hips are unlocked still, so you can let the bike wiggle without that affecting your chest or your head. By engaging here, it keeps your hips unlocked. So as soon as you disengage your abs, you slouch over and now our whole body is one. So make sure that lower body keeps the weight back. Upper body now has to keep the weight forward. So there was a lot of riders yesterday when they would go to get on the throttle. This, aiming our chest down or rolling our hips forward, we're connecting our entire body as one. So if you guys hit a kicker on a jump face or you hit a bump and the bike gets kicked sideways in the air, the whole body will go with it. Very, very, very dangerous. Very dangerous. When we get scared, human nature when we get scared is to do this. It's to get our head away from danger. So the way we have to ride a motorcycle is our head, we're leading with our head. Our head is always forward. You stand up, we should always, even when we're braking, we should be able to read our front number plate. When we brake, the head comes nice and low, just so we can stabilize, accelerate, and it's not this. A lot of people think that they should get the weight forward and back by doing this. The knees stay low, the knees stay locked, and they just go from bend to accelerate and you brake.
Ό,τι θα μας δείξει θα είναι με τα πόδια πάνω.
Forget about how to sit on the bike. The standing position is the most important thing about riding a motorcycle, whether you're on a motocross track, supercross track, riding through the desert or the woods. It allows you to do basically anything you want on the bike and make it very easy.
What about the transition from the correct position to braking or gearing and then getting back to
Was that difficult for you?
it causes a little bit of,
Yeah. It's tricky because when you first learn that position, a lot of riders will do this. And they're making too big of a movement to the controls. When you get good at it and you know your boots and you know what the feeling is like, it's very small because so many people are used to doing this. You know? So it's just a different movement. A lot of us see the corner and we think that we're doing ourselves a favor by making this slow transition just to get ready, but all it's doing is discombobulating us and making the bike get squirrely, where if we can stand up until even halfway through the corner or a third of the way through the corner and then make a quick transition to sitting down, you'll be surprised how simple it'll make the turn. And make sure we get our downshift before we hit the brakes as well. We want to utilize what's called engine brakes. So upper body, when we sit, I want our upper bodies to be straight up and down, nice and proper, like we're having good posture sitting at a table or a desk. Like this, instead of pulling with your forearms and ending up here. Long way right now. Hold all the way up against the grip donut, all the way up. And then now relax, Where do your arms go?
Down.
Right by your side, right? So to keep your elbows up in this hand position, it's a very unnatural angle of your wrist. So instead, what I want you to do is put your hands out like this, and then I want you to just place them on the handlebars at that same angle. It should be forming a triangle right here in the hand grip. Actually keep your elbows up, and it's very difficult to put your elbows down.
Με αυτόν τον τρόπο δεν θα μπορείτε να βάλετε καθόλου δύναμη στο τιμόνι, αλλά αυτό θέλουμε, καθόλου δύναμη στο τιμόνι. Δεν θα μπορείτε να κρατηθείτε καθόλου από το τιμόνι.
Like this, that bike can get kicked sideways and it doesn't even matter. It's almost very similar to, I don't know if people ski here, but like a snow skier.
Εγώ έκανα το λάθος.
I like to stay standing later just to make sure that I have the traction stability.
A lot of throttle or just...
Oh, very little. So when I demonstrate, listen to how little throttle I give it. I get on the gas maybe here, 5%, 10%, so even on the 125, 15, 20, very, very gradual. Maybe sitting a little too far back and then inside foot just doing nothing. Why do we all put our feet here? Do you know? You just look the same every time through. I don't care if you mess up, but try different things. So if you mess up one time through, I shouldn't see you come through and make the same mistake again, and then again, and again. Finally took the time to maybe slow down that little bit extra. Finally. Now that class is over. All right, group 2, let's see it.
Πάλι με το ένα χέρι, γιατί είναι πάρα πολύ σημαντικό όταν οδηγάς με το ένα χέρι και δεν έχεις το άλλο πάνω. Θες δεν θες, θα είσαι σφιχτός πολύ στους κοιλιακούς.
Πονάει όλους η κίνηση.
Πάμε με ένα χέρι μας τώρα, πάμε με ένα χέρι.
How do you feel?
I was really scared.
You're making life difficult because your head falls back. It's the same problem.
Okay.
And what it's doing is when your head falls back, all of the weight is in your arm. If your weight's in your hand, you have no control.
Okay.
I know it's scary, but just experiment with it. Do me a favor, stand up. Further forward. More.
Farther.
Yeah. Because you have to, and then when you give it gas, what will happen is it'll kind of pull you back to here, which is okay. If you start here and you give it gas, what's going to happen? you're gonna end up here. Then when we end up here, now all the weight's in our arm.
Okay.
And that's when you get scared. Start further forward. I know it's weird,
Yeah.
and I know it's scary,
Okay.
but just try it. And then when you sit for the turn, keep your feet on.
I understood that I took it off.
So sit for the turn, sit. And you just keep the feet on, squeeze the legs. You'll also feel like you have more control. Head forward. Good, now sit for the turn.
Oh.
Good. 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 Simple.
Okay.
Just don't be scared. There's nothing to be scared of. What did we say to do with our feet when we take a turn?
I didn't do that.
Leave them on the whole time. It will change the way you ride. It will make it so much easier. Did you see when I ride?
Yeah.
Aren't I like this
it,
the whole
yeah.
time? It makes it more safe.
Πολύ δύσκολο, δεν το περίμενα.
Better? How did it feel? Still scary? You need to go instead of you're riding in the straightaways in second gear and the bike's a little bit too torquey.
Yes.
Shift up to third or maybe even fourth.
Yes, yes.
You can go the same speed, but riding the taller gear will just make it very controlled.
Then I am afraid in the turn that I have to...
Well, you can downshift easily keeping your knee tight. So see my knees?
Yes.
Squeezing tight and watch my foot. Little downshift and back. So stand up for me. Okay. Now pretend you're downshift twice. Keep the knee tight. Downshift. Good. Downshift. So you just have to practice downshifting while squeezing really, really tight with your knee. Because if you do this, then yeah, it's going to feel unstable because your knee's not squeezing anything.
Okay.
Right? Does that make sense?
Yes, yes. So everything is on the knees.
It's a lot to think about, and I know it's a little scary.
Yes.
But you look good. The last time through, I saw you were really trying.
Yes, I was like...
Yeah, you look better.
Okay, thanks.
Very good. You look great.
Thank you.
Takeoff, you look very good. In the air, you get scared and you do this.
No, I'm trying to absorb it. So what am I doing wrong? I'm not scared.
I think you're absorbing just more that like this then.
Okay.
Instead of like it should
Okay.
your head should stay in the same spot. I think yours is just going more
Okay.
like this.
So
It's up and down, not forward back.
okay.
Yeah.
Hello, για φωτογραφία.
Thank you guys. Thank you.
Can I have an autograph in my... Where? Or
wherever you want.
maybe here.
Sure.
How was I?
You're good.
Yes.
Yeah, you were really good. You have to keep your head forward.
Yes.
Because the more scared you get, the more you do this.
Oh no.
And you just fall away from the bike. So I know it's scary, but you have to have confidence to stay here. Because you and all girls are really good at being able to like unlock their hips.
More flexible.
Yeah. Which is why the girls are usually better at class.
Τα ακούσατε, με είπε ότι είμαι καλή riding. And thank you very much for everything, for coming here.
Yeah, thank you
It
for
was
coming.
an honor.
Would your big camera die?
Yes, no battery.
My camera's always
Can we take also a picture?